Do you want to improve your credit score? In this video, I'm going to share with you the 5 things that make up your credit score, and then the 5 best ways to raise your credit score starting today. And as a bonus, if you don't have any credit, or you have bad credit, I'll share with you 2 easy ways that you can get credit fast. By the end of the video, you'll have everything you need to get on track to getting into what I call the 800 Club, a credit score over 800. Now, if you're new to the channel, my name is Orford, author of The Financially Independent Millennial. And if you like videos about this sort of topic, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. When I was younger, I struggled with my credit score. For example, when I got my first credit card, no one showed me how to use it. I just made the minimum payments. And we all know what happens when you just make the minimums. Generally, the balance just gets larger and larger month after month. And when they got maxed out, I asked and I received credit limit increases. Eventually, I was always late about 2 or 3 months, and my credit score fell off a cliff. And even though I worked harder, faster, and smarter, and made more money, my credit card balances always increased. I could never get ahead. Every time I got a raise, I'd go shopping for that thing that I was wanting to buy, or had to have, or went on a vacation, or bought a better car. If you or someone you know can relate to this, give me a like for this video. It'll give me a sense of how many people are struggling with the same problem. But eventually, I figured out how to make a budget and stick to it. And eventually, my credit score increased to well over 800. By the way, if you already haven't made a budget, here is the easiest way to start a budget. Now, before we begin with what makes up your credit score, this video is brought to you by thefinanciallyindependentmillennial.com. It's a blog where you can learn to save money, make more money, invest, and become financially independent, and perhaps even retire early like I did. Your credit score is a 3-digit number, and most people fall between 500 and 850, but it's just one piece of your financial puzzle, and will likely have the most severe impact on your finances. And the key to improving and maintaining a good credit score is learning how it gets calculated and using credit responsibly. Your credit score is important because it determines whether or not you're a risk to the bank and the interest rate that the bank will offer. For example, a credit score above 750 will put you in the lowest risk category, giving you access to the lowest interest rates. However, a score in the 500s means you're going to be paying far more in interest. There are 3 main credit bureaus in the United States: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. And in Canada, there's 2, Equifax and TransUnion. And each credit bureau generates your credit score just a little differently. However, they're usually pretty close. For example, if someone never pays their bills on time, their credit score is going to be low, no matter if it's coming from TransUnion or Equifax. So you might be surprised that when it comes to credit scores, just 2 simple factors make up 65% of your credit score. So let's get started and see the 5 ways your credit score gets calculated. So the single biggest factor that makes up your credit score is your payment history. Yes, 35% of your credit score is calculated on your payment history. So you see, it's important to pay your bills on time. Credit bureaus look at how often you're late in making your payments and how many days you're late, and other things like bankruptcy and repossession. So it's really essential to pay your credit cards and lines of credit and mortgages on time every single month to build and maintain good credit. And the longer you pay your credit cards on time, the more you'll demonstrate a strong track record. And that will make you a better credit risk, because a higher credit score means you'll be offered higher limits and lower interest rates. Of course, if you've paid your credit card on time for 10 years and you've been late just once, 30 days, your credit score could tank over 100 points, setting you back years. The second most important factor in determining your credit score is the amount of debt you're using, also known as the utilization, and it makes up 30% of your credit score. Credit bureaus divide the total amount of debt you're using by the total amount of available credit, and that makes up the utilization. For example, if you have a $5,000 credit card limit with a $4,000 balance, your utilization would be 80%. But if you had a $20,000 limit with the same $4,000 balance, well, your utilization would only be 20%. So you see, even though the balance is the same, what matters is the utilization. And the credit bureaus don't care about any one credit card or line of credit. For example, if you have 5 credit cards and each have a $2,000 limit, then you have a total available credit of $10,000. And if one card is maxed out and the others have a zero balance, then your utilization is still only 20%. In my experience, I found that my credit score does just fine if I keep my balances under 10% of my total credit limit. Now, if you find it difficult to pay off your debt, consider starting a side hustle. And here's a video you can watch that talks about the best side hustles that you can start today to earn $1,000 a month or more. Now, let's look at 3 other factors that determine your credit score. The third part of your credit score is the length of credit history. The longer you have credit accounts, the higher your credit score. And credit history length accounts for 15% of your credit score. One thing to remember, when you close an account, it no longer gets calculated in the credit history length. So credit bureaus like to see extra long relationships with banks, like 5 years or 7 years or even 10 years. So if you want to maintain a high credit score, I always suggest that you keep your oldest credit cards or lines of credit open. And if there's any fees associated with them, just ask the bank to switch you to a no-fee product. I'm sure they'll be happy to do that for you. The fourth part of your credit score is new credit, and it makes up 10% of your credit score. People who apply for credit too often could be considered a credit seeker. When someone applies for credit, usually the bank will do what's called a hard credit check. And these repeated hard inquiries, without any changes to the credit report, is an indication that the consumer has been declined for credit. Now, if you're looking to apply for new credit, many lenders will allow you to request what's called a soft inquiry before you formally apply. And a soft inquiry does not affect your credit report. It does give you a good indication about whether or not your application will be approved. And finally, the last 10% of your credit score is your mix of credit. Credit mix refers to the different types of loans and credit lines reported on your credit report. For example, credit cards, lines of credit, personal loans, and mortgages are all common types of credit. The first account people usually think about is a credit card. But it's also important to have at least one personal loan, like a car loan or a lease. Having different types of credit will add to the credit mix factor. And in the long run, having various types of accounts will improve your credit score because you'll be able to take advantage of higher total credit limits, payment history, and the credit mix. So folks, how are we doing so far? Was there anything that surprised you about how your credit score gets calculated? Go ahead and leave me a comment below. Now that we've covered how your credit score is calculated, let's look at 5 ways to improve your credit score and hopefully get you into that 800 club. So first, start by getting a copy of your credit report. Building and keeping a good credit score is a never-ending process, and it all starts by just getting a copy of your credit report. Then check it for any errors. Now, my favorite place to get a copy of my credit report is from Credit Karma. Their site is easy to use and completely free. By checking your credit report often, you'll develop a good habit of managing your credit. Once you have your credit report in front of you, check it for any inaccurate information. Perhaps there might be an account that was supposed to be canceled, but it's not. Or worse, a late payment is reported when you've never had one. If there's anything bad on it that's not true, go ahead and dispute it by contacting one of the 3 or all 3 credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, or TransUnion, either online or by mail or by phone. Now you'll need to gather up some evidence to support your dispute and give this to the credit reporting agency. It can take about a month for the dispute to be resolved, and when it is, you'll see your credit score improve dramatically. Another way to improve your credit score is to have high credit limits and, of course, very low utilization. Credit cards with a high limit increases your total credit limit because remember, the credit score considers the total amount of credit you have. And at the same time, you want to have as little owing as possible. So balancing these two pieces of the puzzle takes a little practice, but anyone can do it with a little planning. So if you have a good credit score and a solid payment history with the bank, you can ask for a credit limit increase, usually every 6 months. And when you increase your credit limit, you instantly decrease your credit utilization. So this is one quick and easy way you can quickly raise your credit score and get you on your way to the 800 club. But what do you do if the bank says no? Now, if your credit card company says no to a credit limit increase, don't worry. If you have good credit, one thing you can do is call them back and see if they'll approve you for another credit card. Oftentimes, banks are more lenient if you want to open another credit card rather than giving you a credit limit increase. Seems strange, doesn't it? Well, it's the way it is. Either way, your total credit limit will increase, giving you lower utilization, and it'll ultimately improve your credit score. Now, you know that the total amount of debt makes up 30% of your credit score. So to improve your credit score and get you into that 800 club, it's best to keep your balances below 10% of your combined credit limit at any one time. Remember, the amount of debt refers to how much total credit you have versus the amount that you're using. So if you're carrying a balance, it's important to pay it down. The goal should be paying off your credit card or credit account in full every single month. So all of this is great. But what if you need to increase your credit score in a short period, like today? Well, maybe you need to buy a house or buy a car, but your credit score is a little low. Well, lucky for you, there's some tools out there that will help you increase your credit score fast, and it's completely free. Experian has a service called Experian Boost. It works by giving you credit for everyday bills that you already pay, like Netflix and phone bills. It's completely free and will likely increase your credit score on the same day. And there's another service that is called Perch. And with Perch, users can report their monthly expenses like their gym membership and Netflix, and even the rent. Yes, with Perch, you can even report your rent payments to the credit bureau. And users can see an improvement in their credit score in as little as 2 weeks. Guys, what did you think about these 5 tips to improve your credit score? Leave me a comment below. Now, for the final segment of this video, here's 2 bonus tips on how to raise your credit score when you have no credit or bad credit. First, consider a credit builder loan. A credit builder loan is an option that anyone can use, but is ideal for those with low or no credit scores. Credit builder loans allow you to make small monthly payments to yourself over 1 or 2 years, and the payments and the balances get reported to the credit bureaus. And at the end of the term, all the money you've paid is yours to keep. Second, you can also get a secured credit card. A secured credit card is a good option in case your credit score is low or you have no credit. Here's how it works. Consumers can put their own money as collateral and get a similar credit limit in exchange. For example, I could put $1,000 down as collateral for a credit card, and my credit limit then becomes $1,000. And the reason why you put money down as collateral is in case you can't pay off your credit card, the bank will use that money to pay it off. It's a safety net for the banks to be able to trust you with a credit card. And then after some time, lenders may return your deposit. Or you can apply for a credit card elsewhere, then close down your secured credit card. And of course, any remaining money will be returned to you. But remember, if you've had your secured credit card for a long time, it might be better to convert it to an unsecured credit card. That way you can maintain your payment history and your credit length. Folks, I hope you liked these tips on how to improve your credit score quickly. In the description, I've left a link on the Financially Independent Millennial for even more information about credit scores. I hope you'll go ahead and check it out. Thanks so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. I'll see you in another video.